Hello, everybody. This is Di, anti-natalist, and this is just one of those videos that um, describes the lack of understanding of how life works. And I have long since been a person who tries to do the right thing. If I see something that is lost, I try to return it. And I have. But the karma doesn't seem to come back to me. And I know that most of us do not believe in karma. And I'm not a believer in karma because look at all of the babies and children in hospitals. What did they do? What karma do they have for their infliction of injury or harm or disease to be in the hospital? They don't. So karma doesn't work. Karma doesn't make sense either. And unfortunately, I'm not a believer. But so I'm just going to describe a few scenarios, and I'm hoping I get some input out there because I am really at a loss as to why I am at a loss. This is a recurring feeling of mine. There was an incident in 2022, and I located or found, or whatever you may call it, a very expensive lost item, if you will. I just don't want to go into too much detail because I don't want to give the identity away. But the value of the lost item was $5,000. The item had identification. It had personal effects in it. It had monetary value, resale value, etc. And so I call the individual, and he was an attorney. He was just ecstatic over the item being found. He told me he was about to file a claim on his insurance. Now, claims, their deductible on insurance would be $500 to $1,000 just to file a claim. So he avoided a great deal of loss by this item being returned to him. So I called him and we met, and that was that. Yeah. And I do the right thing no matter what, what comes my way. I don't think I've even been rewarded. I've actually recovered somebody's 2 dogs from a highway and from another city, and returned the dogs. They did not even offer even $1. No, nothing. And the dogs chewed up a hat in the back of my car. 2 years ago, 2 huskies showed up at my house, and we kept the huskies until the owner came. And the owner actually was just the most arrogant person. Like he was almost like, "Give me my dogs." Like, "Hey, pal, you're the one that, lost your dogs, and I called you." Nope, no reward then either. So this fellow got his $5,000, and he even told me what they were valued at. Isn't that a joke? Wow. I mean, that is the biggest wow of my life. Just the lack of gratitude. It's very common. It's very I mean, just like tips are common when, somebody like a doorman would open the door for you. Definitely rewards are very important when you return something of value, whether it's monetary value or sentimental value. And I think an ordinary average person would not have returned his goods. Your everyday person would have sold those things. The everyday person would not have a conscience. But I returned them and was happy to see his happy face. But I guess I was very beleaguered. Is that the word? Bewildered. No, I was bewildered that he didn't offer anything. And we met at a grocery store, an upscale grocery. And it would have been so kind of him to even just go in and get a bouquet of flowers or a gift certificate. Like I am just really aghast at what a faux pas that was of him to have retrieved his very special things and not have rewarded the finder. So, things don't come back to me that I give in kind. I was at a restaurant in Erie, and I was facing these two men, and we were the only ones in this particular area. Me and my two friends were sitting with me and my dog, and I was facing these two guys, and they were Mexicans, and they said they just stood out because I was facing them and they were facing me. And they had left the restaurant, and I didn't see them walk out. But I leaned over to pet my dog on the floor, and I saw that one of the men had left a wallet, like a long wallet, and it contained all of his credit cards, is everything. And so I didn't know whether he was still in the parking lot. But I ran out the door. I took the wallet, ran out the door, and was scanning the parking lot. And sure enough, the guy in the white Jeep with the tinted windows. I held up the wallet, and sure enough, that was the identity of the two men that lost the wallet. No, I certainly did not. I certainly would not have expected a reward, and it certainly was not offered. There was a situation about 6 months ago, and I lost something of importance with full identification. I know where it was lost, and regretfully, I think I know who found the item, which is even sadder. It was left in a parking lot by accident, and some workers who worked there were probably the ones to have picked this item up. Well, the item never returned to me. And it was valuable. It was, it was universally valuable to anyone. 6 months later, no return, no whatever, no nothing. So it was completely stolen, and it was stolen from an individual or individuals who knew the identity of the person who lost it, because multiple identification cards were in this item. So they did not make an effort to return it, nor was it turned in to the restaurant where it was lost at, and neither was it given to the police. It was flat out stolen, folks. And I'm thinking, why isn't my kindness rewarded? Why isn't my good-natured, good citizenship returned in kind? I have lost several things. I've lost a couple of things in New York City, and also I've been pickpocketed in New York City. Those things never returned to me. People were stealing. Theft is it's a very personal thing to me, because the dishonesty around the situation, and the cruelty, and just the entitlement of the person who feels that if they found your personal belonging, that they could keep it. I mean, what stops them from entering your car? I mean, let's say you have, a camera on your car seat, and you went in to grab a Coke, and somebody said, well, you left your car unlocked. Finders keepers. Oh, I found your wallet laying, in the mall. Finders keepers. I don't understand that kind of entitlement, and the fact that people prey on somebody who has something that you want is just really evil to me. So I have no faith in humanity, and the betrayal of your fellow citizens, your neighbors, if you will, your your township residents. I'm just really, really appalled at entitlement, and the fellow who lost his $5,000 items. I mean, he had an air of entitlement about him. I mean, let's face it. I mean, when you drive up in a very nice new car and you're retrieving $5,000 item from somebody, and you don't even whip out a bill, I don't know. I would feel embarrassed. I could not live with myself. I couldn't sleep at night thinking that somebody returned my dog or my purse or a $5,000 thing. I would just feel so cheap and stingy as an individual. I mean, if my dog was lost, dogs, and his dogs were huskies are that type of dog, and they were purebred. My God. I mean, to replace those dogs, you know how many people would just steal them? There was another woman, and she had 2 Bernese mountain dogs, and she lived about a mile away from me. And the dogs came to my house. They actually, one of them jumped up and rang the doorbell, and we opened the door, and there these 2 dogs were. I called her. She came out. She offered no reward. It's interesting, isn't it? There was another case, I guess it was about 9 years ago, and it was during July 4th fireworks, and there was a really, really sweet, old dog, small dog, And I guess the dog was so scared of the fireworks. And the dog ended up at my house because I have a lot of dogs and, a lot of strays, I guess, not strays, but lost dogs have ended up at my house. So over the years. And so this older dog shows up. And I was so happy that the dog did not get hit because, the dog lived about a mile away, but no reward, no offer, no nothing. And, whether, regardless of your class level or whether the person's class is different than yours, or no matter what class level you are, if somebody does something good for you or return something of value, it's a sign of class and just general respect to compliment them in some monetary way. Now, I will say that I am Southern, and Southern people have more tact and courtesy and manners, ethics, conscientiousness. I have not seen that up here in the East Coast of America. I just simply haven't. And that's possibly why I don't see the return of kindness here. There's just a different level of expectation here. I remember one time when I was a child, I found a man's set of keys from his car. And his son had lost the keys, I guess, after driving it or something. So I knocked on the man's door, and this was about in 1977. I knocked on the man's door, and I said, "Here, I think these are your keys." And he was like really, really grateful. He gave me $1 in change, and I was really happy. And I think for some people, seeking a reward is necessary in order to make sure that the proper owner gets their things that were lost or stolen. And I do think that many people don't return things because they assume that there's no reward or they have not been rewarded in the past. But I continue to lose or have things stolen, and with perfect identification. But I'm reaching out to help people retrieve their goods, but I am not I'm not getting the same respect and consideration in kind for myself. I don't know. I have no explanation. It's just a very detrimental sign that humanity is just so sour. And I mean, if my purse or wallet that had been stolen in the past, if somebody saw the purse and thought, "Oh, they have a better purse than me. Oh, I need that money. They don't need that." Wrong. That's entitlement. And for somebody to, that could be their whole paycheck. That could be their savings. That could be a withdrawal that they were going to use to pay off some work that they had done. When you steal from somebody, you are stealing from them. You are taking from their resources. No matter how much the person has or how little the person has, you are stealing from somebody else. And you are essentially saying that you are more important than that person. And it's very repulsive to me. I'm it's sickening to me, and I'm still revisiting the losses over the years, and I can recall where things were lost. I remember I was in Sears about 14 years ago. I had a brand new wallet, something that, somebody would want, a woman maybe. And when I got to the car, I realized I did not have my wallet. And I knew where I put the wallet down because there was a collection of clothing and it was in a bundle on a platform in Sears. I put my wallet there while I was looking through the clothing. That wallet was gone. Somebody had stolen it intentionally, and it just sickened me to the core. And I hope some of these people are now watching my video. I really, really hope that they are. The damage that you've done by taking things that were not yours and not returning them. Just like the very sentimental things that this guy lost. He was grieving, literally, over these lost items. I mean, it's unbeknownst to me why he wouldn't, leave me some kind of reward or, I don't know, make some kind of offer. It just blows me away, but he didn't. I remember once I had bought this brand new scarf, and I was downtown, and I bought it in a store that was closing, and it was an upscale store. At the time, it was very expensive, but I would say the value would be around $500 now. I do know that the scarf slipped off of my neck in a very busy part of downtown. I have flashbacks of that loss. I can verify, I am almost certain that the person who has possession of that scarf saw it fall off of my neck. That's what empaths feel. They know things like that. Just like the lady who I caught staring at me from a distance to the left of me, actually, and I felt her stares, and I turned around and caught her staring. That's what empaths do. They know things. They feel things. So this colorful scarf, which I regretfully lost, which slipped off of my neck, was most likely seen and recovered from a person who thought, I didn't need that scarf. They needed that scarf. They needed to sell that scarf. They needed money for this or that. Their child needed formula. They needed to pay the rent that month. Well, guess what, folks? Everybody has bills. Everybody needs food. And when you steal from somebody, you are taking away their resources. And you are, in essence, showing your entitlement and showing your ego and showing your narcissism. And I have no words. I have no words. I don't know if karma ever visited these people, or I don't know. I don't know why I get the short end of the stick when it comes to losses, and I don't know why I'm not being rewarded either as a good citizen. I always, when I was in school, we had good citizenship days, and I don't know if they still have that anymore, but, that was an ambition of mine, to just be a good citizen and to be somebody that was, a favor in society. And, But that's been my following. Just not getting the treatment that I have given, not getting rewards that I have given. And yes, I have given rewards to people. In fact, somebody returned one of my dogs years ago, and I offered $20, and it was in my neighborhood, though. He refused the reward. And people can always refuse a reward. But to not offer a reward when you're driving a $90,000 car and you lost your $5,000 things, it's pretty sad. It's really indicative of your grandiosity and your ego, your narcissism. So thanks for watching, guys. Any comments or any losses that you have, jot them below. I'm interested in seeing if other people have had similar experiences, because it is really bothering me. I mean, I have flashbacks about some of these losses. I put my name, I put my identification on, things of value. So there's no reason not to return something. I don't know if people feel guilty about taking, those things. But as, even from being a child, like if I saw something on the ground, those things were not for me. I did not look at something and say, oh, that's mine, finders keepers. I used to have a friend many years ago, I guess 10 years ago. His male name was Richard. And he was in the men's bathroom, and he found a cell phone. And he came back to the table and he goes, look what I found. I can sell this. I can make money. And I said, no. I said, you are returning that cell phone. And he did. And I was extremely hurt that this person immediately thought of his gain and not the other person's loss. He wanted to make a buck off of somebody else's loss. That is so evil. I just can't imagine, like, the demons inside of somebody to want to cripple somebody even more than having a loss. And I know someone now that has a very deep personal problem, and he has taken to stealing Amazon packages. And I'm horrified. He steals them, and he makes money, and just goes up to people's houses and takes chances. And I'm really, really appalled at this mentality, this entitlement-minded. There's a lot of it going around with the millennials. I mean, they're not putting in the long hours. They're not, saving up, and they really feel entitled. My God, things that were that my generation earned and saved for, or we did without. We sacrificed. We delayed gratification in order to buy certain things. But some of these people nowadays, mostly younger people, under 40, they feel that they deserve those things that other people earned, worked, and saved for decades even. And housing was one of them. I've even heard some millennials who are like 25 think that, they need deserving of house ownership. Well, my God, my generation was almost 30 before we bought homes, unless your parents gifted you one or started you out well on your house. But yeah, theft, folks, is entitlement. And it's it's grandiosity, it's superiority, it's feeling that you deserve something that somebody has, and you feel that you're more worthy than they are, in a nutshell. Thanks for watching, guys. Chat your responses below, and please subscribe if you already haven't.